So do you have any problems you would like to discuss? I know that some of you have been contacting me privately during the week, and I think we have been able to sort out problems related to MySQL and such things. Otherwise, seems quite there. Okay, I have. Okay, 18th of October is Sunday. I just wanted to give you just a few extra days. But the deadline is not so strict that if the next week is a vacation week, so if it's absolutely necessary, we can still maybe continue the deadline for 1 week to the 25th. So you have been progressing quite nicely until now. So my SQL questions and these things have been answered quite nicely already, but no answers for the MongoDB in the storage section. So maybe I just give a few pointers how to start with those. These exercises shouldn't be too hard. You can install MongoDB in Windows. For example, if you Google, I haven't tried every possible combination of these. So this MongoDB Community Edition, for example, it doesn't have very good command line, so I don't like this very much, but you can use it anyway, because many of the exercises we have here are done in the command line. So this is more like a graphical environment. But then there are other possibilities for Windows, like the 3T. Let's see how we can find it. This RoboMongo. So this Robo 3T download only is a free version of MongoDB. This Studio 3T is commercial version, but it has 30 days of free trial. So maybe you can use it also. But I've been myself using Linux so far, and since you have the virtual servers, you can install MongoDB there. And of course you can find the installation instructions quite easily. It shouldn't be too complicated. And the virtual servers are 18.4. I don't remember which one I have used to install it, but there are step-by-step instructions. I don't think you don't need to adjust the firewall. Since if I remember correctly, Teemu doesn't like the UFW, so the universal firewall is not present in the virtual servers. But if you run into problems, you can always ask me or Teemu how to get it running. If you can't get it running, then I have installed one in my own virtual server. You can use that one in case you don't have any other choice. I can show you. Wait a minute, I have to put the VPN on. So just writing Mongo here, then you have the Mongo session on, and you can start writing the commands here. And if we take a look at some of the tutorials I have linked here, this is the tutorials point version. You can see all the basic commands here. So what is the MongoDB? It's a NoSQL database. That means that it doesn't have this organized structure like a relational database like MySQL. So you can, in principle, you can put anything in a NoSQL database typically in JSON format. Of course, there is some structure, but it's not as strict as it is in a relational database. So here are some comparison of the basic terminology between the relational database and MongoDB. A database is a database in both of them. Then a collection corresponds to a relational database table, and one row or tuple or tieto in Finnish is one document. And a field is a column, or it is also called a field in relational database. So there are only some minor differences in the terminology. In NoSQL databases, there are no table joins. You have only documents. So you cannot combine information from different documents or the different collections like in MySQL. The primary key in MongoDB is this ID field. It is automatically provided by MongoDB. And as you may know, there are other NoSQL databases than MongoDB, but I'm not going to go through those in this course. Let's see. NoSQL. You can, of course, you can always take a look at the Wikipedia, but I'm not going to read everything here because you can read yourself. There's a large list of databases, and they also function differently. So you have to study every one of those separately just to get all the things working. But I think it's maybe it's more informative here to just concentrate on one of the most common ones, like MongoDB. Wait. So here is a simple sample document. So it contains different tags. For example, here is some maybe a discussion forum, and you can store comments for different users in this one collection. So this is one collection or one table. So one collection can hold many different documents, and each document can have different size and different content. Okay, here are some pros and cons. How to use this, or why to use. Usually MongoDB is very suitable for big data, therefore it's here in this course. And okay, here are instructions how to install in Windows, in Ubuntu, such things. But I think it's just easier for us to start this MongoDB workbook. This is quite nice introduction to the MongoDB. And your task is to read this and do the exercises. Some of these are quite simple, but they get a bit complicated later on. Therefore, I was planning to have 2 weeks for these, so you have enough time to do all these exercises. So for example, if I take the now this terminal here, I can start writing the exercises. Now I'm in the command prompt, then I can, for example, create a database. If that doesn't exist, it will create it. And with db command, I can see what databases I have, and drop database command drops it. A collection is like table in MySQL. It's a set of related documents. And here in this pet shop database, you create a collection named mammals. I just run a few of these commands. I'm not going through everything, just to show you how this works. Okay, now it gives me an error message somehow. I'm not. Okay, there's something wrong with the user authentication now. But anyway, it should be quite simple for you to go through these exercises. I will sort out the problem I had with my mongodb installation. There may be some problems with the server. So that's about what I'm going to say about data storage today. I guess you can manage with this. I'm really sorry I didn't have time to prepare everything very thoroughly this week because I had so many things to do in other courses. And then a few words about the data analysis section, and then week 4, this end-to-end machine learning project. This is very long and very theoretical text in here. And luckily, the notebook which accompanies this text helps quite a lot in understanding. But basically, this is just to create a classification model. Train a data set. And we use this California housing prices data set here. And when you take go to this link and just git clone this to your, for example, to your local machine, then you have everything you need to run it. I can show you my work here. It is really helpful if you have large enough monitor that you can have these two windows side by side, so you can run all the commands and see the text also at the same time. Okay, now I just close the window there. So when you read this text, you can simultaneously run the same commands in this notebook window. Since no one has answered the questions yet, I will change the task a little bit because now it's too general, the questions I have here. And I think these questions are too hard. The exercises in the end of the chapter, this is quite too much to bite for us at this stage. So I will prepare some easier questions in this section today. I will also inform you through the Teams chat that I will change this a little just to make it easier for you. Since I have been reading this text quite a lot and during the last few days, and for me it was quite hard to understand everything that's going on there. All the details, the general, of course I understand in general what's happening, but there are some details that are maybe quite hard to understand. So I changed this question a bit. But the idea here is to estimate the housing prices of California district. And so you should make a model that learns from the data and is able to predict the median housing price in any district. But as for now, I'm not at this stage. I'm not going to lecture this chapter through. Maybe next week, if you have questions related to these practical things, I will then explain in more detail what's happening here. But for now, you should read this through and run this notebook. And during today, I will prepare for you some questions, easier questions to answer according to this article. So as I said, this course is still under construction, and sometimes I was not thinking thoroughly through these exercises. I thought that it would be easier than it actually is. And I can admit my errors when I'm doing those, so nobody's perfect. What do you think? Do you have any opinions? Have you tried this, anyone? Of course, it's just trivial to run through this notebook. But then to really understand what's happening here, it's not that simple. No one has yet answered anything in this week's exercises, so maybe no one has really been reading it. But you should, there is another exercise also. Go to Kaggle and find another data set for this kind of classification problem. And run it through and then send your notebook and comment what you did. So here is you have complete freedom of choice. The Kaggle contains several thousands of different datasets, which are very nicely commented. So you can, there are simpler ones also. Let's take a look. For example, datasets. Classification. So you can find very many different kind of classification problems here, and there are also usually there are solutions also that you can see the answers to these problems also. And here you see here are notebooks, complete notebooks. So there are really plenty of things to learn and go through in this site. Okay, do you have any questions at this stage? Comments? I'm really sorry that I had a little bad questions here. It happens. It happens sometimes. And the MongoDB exercises should be quite straightforward to do. Just install it either in Ubuntu or in Windows. And if you have problems with the installation, then I guess there will be more programming, but there will be essays also. As you see, I haven't done all the data storage questions yet. So there, I think there will be some essays there also. Very quiet. Tina is the only one who has anything. But just to encourage you, you have done very nice work so far. The answers I have been reading so far have been really nice. So you have done a good job. It's me that hasn't done such a good job with the preparation of this course, but let's try to go through this anyway. So now I guess now you know what to do next. I will write in the Teams chat also for those who haven't been listening. So I don't have anything more today. Let's be in contact in the chat or email. And I will I will be online almost all the time. So hopefully I can give you answers as soon as you run into some problems. And there seems to be some new participants, so for those who just came, I will change the question for this data analysis for week 4 first. This exercise a little. This is to now as it is here, it's just too general. And those exercises at the end of the chapter, I think they are too hard for us at this stage. So I will formulate this exercise again today. But so I think that's all about today. So if you haven't got any questions, then just keep up the good work and see you next week. Hopefully I have more to say then.